What's going on, folks? Welcome to 34 Questions. Today's guest is the prospect, if you didn't already know, aka Omar. Welcome to the show, man. Thank you for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me, man. I'm excited to be here. I'm really happy to be here. So
Right on, right on. It's been a while since we talked. Like we were just talking about, it's been maybe 5+ years or so. So yeah, it's good to see you. And I'm excited to catch up. So the basic flow of the show, if you didn't already know, and for anyone listening out there, is we do some intro questions, a little warm up, just to set the tone. Then we got an icebreaker. Feel free to participate. Feel free to say no. If either way, it's all good. And then we get into the main meat of the interview questions, where you choose a random number between 1 and 34, and then we talk about those questions and just go with the flow. Sound good?
Sound good, man. Let's do it.
All right. So my first intro question is, how have you been, man? You doing well? You going through it? What's up with you?
Well, it's been one of those things where I want to say, on a scale from 1 to 100, I'm at a 50. I'm right down the middle.
Gotcha.
Like I was briefly mentioning earlier, this pandemic hit everybody hard and hit everybody in a different way. For me personally, it really gave me a lot of time to self-reflect on myself, work on some, I wouldn't necessarily say inner demons, but work on some issues that I had kind of been pushing aside for a long time. And although I haven't, solved all my problems 100%, I feel like I'm on track. 6 months ago, I wasn't in the best mindset. I wasn't in the most, thinking more positive. Right now, I feel calmer. I feel happier. My interactions with my friends, my family, everything is going well right now. So, for me, being on good terms with those that I care about brings up my spirits. And it makes my overall being just be in a better state of mind, physical health, all that stuff. So that's as best I could say how I'm doing right now. As I'd say, I'm pretty good. Not great, but pretty good.
No, I got you, man. Similar to, I feel like your experience, I reflected a shit ton during the pandemic, man. All that time to yourself kind of, really forces you to kind of look back at everything up to this point. You feel me? Yeah, personally, myself, I basically went through I went through, every month was like me exploring my old hobbies and my old interests, and just kind of like deep diving back into it, and kind of taking the time to think about why those things resonate with me. And since then, I've been on a good upward slope at the moment, because all that kind of built up to this podcast. But I can also feel the downward slope coming right now. So it's a ride, and we all riding together. So definitely understand.
Yeah, no. Oh, sorry to interrupt. I was just gonna say, it's definitely a roller coaster. Life has its ups and downs regardless. I think we feel it more now that we have a little bit more downtime, that we're not as busy, not as going out. I know for me, I used to go out, every weekend. So, I didn't really have time to self-reflect, because I'm thinking about partying. I'm thinking about turning up, whatever the situation is. Now, another thing that you made me remember, talking about hobbies and getting into it, that was one of the things that I also did during this pandemic. Was I got back into one of my old hobbies, which was I used to collect baseball cards when I was a kid, and I kind of neglected that a little bit after high school. But I had all these bins of cards and stuff like that, and I finally got to sort them, see what I got. Got a few little gems in there. Nothing, no big bucks, but nevertheless, that's been fun to kind of reminisce on that hobby and find out that I still have a love for it. So
yeah, is that game coming back? Because I feel like more and more people are like talking about baseball cards or collecting cards in general.
It's I think in general, cards, I mean, I've been seeing a lot of people with the Pokemon cards like that. That's going crazy right now. baseball cards, basketball cards. Like it's going up right now. The only thing is, like everything, it has a high and then it drops. So I don't know how how good of how much money you should invest into a hobby like this.
I got
is
you.
it just for right now, or is it gonna drop later? So.
Now I feel like a fool for like letting go of all my cards right now. I've been searching. It still might be around somewhere in the storages, but damn, like I do have a bunch of football cards and some baseball cards. So who knows? Who knows? But it's a trip to see it come back. And
yeah. You might have some gems in there, man. You better look a little harder. You might have some gems.
Yeah, I hope my folks didn't throw it away or give it away.
Yeah.
But for sure. The second question in the intro is, what would you like the audience to know about you?
What would I like the audience to know about me? I would like the audience to know that I'm a pretty good guy, and I don't say that like as a brag type of thing. I just feel like most people that meet me have this misconception of who I am. And they have, just based on first impressions, they think that I'm, maybe not the nicest guy and stuff like that. But really, I consider myself to be a really nice guy, a very loving guy, got a good heart. But I have this problem where, now we all wear masks, so you can't really see my facial expressions. But prior to this, I always I've been cursed with the resting bitch face, and so all my life I've had, people, I remember in school, people would say, I hated you until I got to know you. And I was like, why'd you hate me? And they're like, well, you just look like you were mean. You look like you weren't approachable and stuff like that. And I think for me, the as cliche as it sounds, is don't judge a book by its cover. I have a lot to offer to people. I'm open to friendship, to whoever wants to send love my way, I send it back. Mutual respect is big for me. And, for those listening, don't be strangers. If you need a friend, if you need want to talk some smack, stuff like that, I'm always open. I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying? I like the social interaction.
Nah, for sure, man. And I can't say we know each other that well. We've only kicked it a few times, been in the studio a couple times. But yeah, man, I feel like your vibe is good. I'm a witness to that, y'all. If anybody out there is too intimidated by the prospect, he's a good guy. Definitely somebody you could talk to. But for sure. And I feel you, man. Like I don't think same thing with the masks and everything nowadays. I'm usually smiling, or I try to have a welcoming, I guess, face. No one's ever told me I had a resting bitch face or anything. But I've had some people come up to me before asking me what my problem was, and I'm like, damn, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I've
had that happen, and that's like people have wanted to fight me in certain occasions. I'm like, yo, like I have no problem. Like they're like, why are you looking at me like that? I'm like, I'm just looking at you. Like I'm just. Yeah, I can relate to that one.
It's a trip, man. It's a trip how people perceive things sometimes,
Definitely.
But I'm glad we can connect and we can vibe,
Yeah, I'm with it.
So my third question is, are you living the dream? And if you're not, what does the dream look like for you?
Am I living the dream? I would say right now, no. Everybody has a different definition to the word dream, personally. I would say for me, the dream at one point, a couple years back, the dream was to be this big rap star, to be the next big thing. That was the dream, to have the millions of dollars, drive the nice cars, have the women, have, everything that you see on Instagram, TV, all that stuff that's over glamorized. That was the dream for me up until, I want to say maybe 4 years ago. That was my dream. And I felt like I was on track to living that dream per se. Now I'm 24. I turned 24 in January, and I'm in a position where I'm trying to figure out what that next step for me is and what the dream is. figuring out what this new dream is, what the new light at the end of the tunnel is for me. And I still don't have 100% answer. I'd say the dream for me, definitely one of the things that is within the dream is being happier. You know, I feel like there's so many reasons to get down, you know, right now, more than ever.
Yeah.
And I've been victim to that, as I imagine you may have at some point as well.
No doubt, man.
And so I'd say happiness is definitely number one thing that I strive for. Just having a little bit more happiness, not be happy all the time, but just more than what I have right now. Have a house one day, my own house that I own, and hopefully, you know, have a family one day. You know, that I think right now is the dream, you know, because right now I have a good job, you know, I make good money, but I'm thinking long term. My dream is the long term thing. So right in this second, no, I'm barely getting the blueprint ready for what the dream is going to be. Right now, I'm not living the dream. I've lived part of dreams before in the past. Right now, I'm not there. Right now, I'm starting from scratch, and you know, maybe a couple years from now, I could say I'm living the dream.
I hear you, man. And you know what? You sound like you matured like a lot more since I met you, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that dream, it changes. And, you know, it's good that you're aware that right now it might not be clear and you're figuring it out. But I think, you know, I turned 30, and a happy belated birthday to you from January.
Yeah, you too, man. 30's a big one. 30's a big one.
It is, man. It's kind of like, it's a new chapter. And, you know, I hope as everybody gets older and the more they become aware of who they are, the more they like themselves, and the more they can say, like, this is who I am, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, and kind of like be able to press those hard lines. I was just talking to someone who mentioned about creating those hard lines so you don't waste your time or waste your life, you know, trying to do things that you're not even interested in or you're not even like down with. But yeah, it's you'll find it, man. I mean, I held on to that rapping dream, and it's good that you could admit it. I never admitted it to myself that, like, you know, maybe it's the fame, maybe it's the women and and everything that comes with the rap life. But I held on to that dream till I was 27. So, you know, and then after that, I switched lanes, and then I switched lanes again, and it's all about finding it. And I think everything you learn from that experience of, you know, trying to reach that dream as a rapper, there's still some elements into it that's going to be incorporated into whatever you end up doing in the future, you know, because there's something that strong that resonated with you, and yeah, it'll always be a part of you. I know the flow never stops, right?
No, it does. And I just want to make it clear for you know, whoever does check this out, that I don't think there's anything wrong with chasing your dream. You know, I mean, you probably dealt with a lot of people telling you that, you know, you should give it up. You should have a plan B. You should have a realistic goal, a realistic dream, and things like that. And I know that personally, I let that get to me a lot growing up. So I had times when I quit the music, then I was back on, quit, back and on. And, you know, for those who are really passionate about it, who really, really love it, as much as I love music, I will always love music, but who have that extra kind of love for it that not everybody has, and they really want to strive for it, I don't think that they should give it up or think it's unrealistic. Just because I didn't achieve it doesn't mean that you can't, you know? So, you know, I just want to put that out there, you know, that everybody, you know, whether it's music or whatever it is, whatever lane you decide to go on, but, you know, nothing's unrealistic. This is life, and we only go around once. So, you know,
no doubt,
go for what you're passionate for.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, those people telling you those, you know, I have a plan B and stuff. I love my folks, and I know they're just looking out for me, you know, for my best interests. But you know, they're the ones who typically are the ones who are always like, oh well, if it doesn't work out, what are you gonna do? Or, you know, all these things. So, I guess that's just parenthood, and we haven't been on that path yet, so we don't know what it's like or what it looks like. So, Yeah. Shout out to folks out there, you know.
Yeah. Shout out to all the parents out there. You know, they the ones that are trying their best. You know, they don't know all the answers. We as the kids don't know all the answers, but that's the great part of life. You know, we live and we learn, as they say.
That experience for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so my fourth question is, what would you like your descendants to know about you? You know, you thinking maybe 5 generations down the road, and I like to frame it as if, you know, personally for me, when I was trying to think to myself, like, who am I as a person, I was kind of curious about, I wonder what my ancestors were like, you know, like, were they like anything like me? You know, did they have the same, you know, interests and whatnot? So yeah, what would you like your descendants to know about you?
You know, that's a very interesting question, and that was one of the questions that I did skim over prior to this, and that one's a tough one. That one did leave me, you know, I didn't know how to answer that. I would say right now, what I would want them to know is my life story. You know what I'm saying? Is up until this point, I've lived a lot of things that a lot of people have not lived. Hold on one quick second. I'm sorry to do this. It's just
I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna pause right now.
Pause it for one quick second. Quick second. What would I want my descendants to know about me? I would say definitely my life story. Like I was saying, I've lived, in my 24 years, I've lived a lot that like I've done things in my life that a lot of other people have not done. I've traveled. I've been around wild animals. I've gone camping in the mountains. I've been in the ocean. I've been all over. I've done so many things, you know, performed making music. I've, you know, met a lot of famous people. I've met people who have great stories, things like that. And I hope that at the end of my day, I'll be able to have a book to pass on, so that at least some of those stories, you know, will actually live on to the people that come after me from my bloodline. So, like I said, I know it might be a little bit of a basic answer, but I would say my life story is what I want them to know, because I know myself and I know the people that I've been around, and I've never met anybody who has done half the things that I've done. And obviously there's people who have done other interesting things with their life. Yeah. But I feel like my story is very unique in comparison to everybody else.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Have you started writing, or is that that's something later on?
That's later. That's just one of those ideas that has only come up within the course of this past year during the pandemic.
I gotcha.
So yeah, no, I within a couple years, maybe we'll get started in the book. You know, life is still going on, so I'm still getting some more life experiences. So
no doubt.
But I feel like up to now, I at least have like a good, you know, half a Bible. You know what I'm saying? Like at least I got the Old Testament at least going. I still need the New Testament to go through.
I got you. Yeah. And you know what, man? Like, that's funny you mentioned that, because that's something I've actually been inspired to do as well. Not necessarily for anybody else. It's more like a personal thing. But this past year, like maybe once a week or once a day, if I have the time, I'll try to write, you know, a page or so. And my whole thing is that, you know, Alzheimer's runs through my family.
Okay.
And so a big thing for me is just remembering memories. And so at this point, I just try to write down as many memories as I can, you know, remember, and like, you know, just have that all in the book, because you know, it means something to us, right? Like your memories, your experiences. Same with me. It's like these are things that you wish you could pass on eventually, and I just hope I don't forget those things at a certain point. And you know, at least I wrote them down, you know, so I could remember later down the road. But yeah, that's dope, man. I can't wait. I better let me know whenever you write that book. I would love to read that.
For sure. Yeah, like I said, it's not anytime soon, but it is definitely something that with all this self-reflection that I've done, it's one of those things that I definitely feel like I owe it to myself, and I owe it to to my kids, to whoever is gonna come after me,
Yeah, and whoever like you put in there too, it's like almost like a tribute to them as well, right? It's yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
All right, man. So the fifth question in the intro is, how well do you know yourself? You could do a scale from 1 to 10, or if it's hard to put into words, but yeah.
How well do I know myself? I would say I know myself on a scale from 1 to 10. I'd say I probably know myself to maybe a 7.5 to 8.
Okay.
I would say I know myself pretty well. However, there are certain moments in life where I'm still learning new things about myself, where I'll react to certain situations differently than what I had expected. There's sometimes you can talk all this smack like you're gonna be a fighter, and and I'm not talking about myself, but I'm making an example. You could say there's countless people who have been in situations like, oh, if I was in a fight, man, I would go up to this dude and I would knock him out and stuff like that. And the minute they're really in a fight, they freeze. They're like, oh my God, and they didn't know they were gonna do that. They thought they were tough. So I'd say for me, there's still a lot of situations like I'm still learning about myself. And there's a lot of things that I know about myself that I'm also working on changing,
I got you.
because that's another thing about sometimes you know yourself a little too well, and too much of your downsides, your dark sides, because we all have that, and we have to work to change that. You can't be a negative person all your life. You can't, if you can change it, why not?
Yeah.
So I would say 7.5, 8. I know myself pretty well, but once in a blue moon, some new stuff pops up.
I hear you, man. And I think that's for most people, I don't think it could ever be a 10 until we get to that point in our lives where it's come almost all said and done. That those revelations or epiphanies, I think that's what gives us peace. So
definitely.
All right, man. And as an artist, as a musician, this last question is, what's your jam? You hear in the club, or you need to set the tone for yourself. What's your go-to? What's
my go-to? That one's a tough one, because I think it has to go like, okay, if we're in the club, let me think. This is a good, because being musicians, being music lovers, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of songs. I would say that the one song that I always stop what I'm doing when I'm in the club would be California Love. When that hits, just being, because I'm from here, a California kid, the minute I hear that song, no matter what I'm doing, if I'm, trying to, in the middle of like drinking something or whatever, I stop and I go to the dance floor to get crazy. And I would say, so that would be my go-to, I'd say, club song of all time. And I'd say just my everyday life hype song for myself, my jam of life, like my kind of anthem would be Mama Said Knock You Out by LL Cool J.
I got you.
I'd say that's my jam for life, for everyday life. So
for sure, man. I know LL you do too.
That's my guy. That's my guy. Yeah. What about you? Let me ask you this one. I want to flip this one on you.
All right, for sure. I guess in the club, I'm trying to think, man. First one that came to mind, man. I know if it comes on, I'm hitting the dance floor. Probably Pony, Genuine.
There you go. Okay.
Boom. Yeah, that part definitely hits hard. That was the first one that came to mind.
That's a good one, bro. That one, you definitely get the ladies on the dance floor too, and you bring them your way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's a good one.
And as far as my everyday anthem, man, damn, I mean, it changes like all the time, because we go through mood swings and when.
Yeah.
The first one that came to mind at the moment, what is Paper Trails by Joey Badass. I don't know if you you've heard that song.
I think I've heard that, dude. That the title sounds familiar.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. You know, the whole thing is he says money ain't a thing if I got it, and I'm like, okay, I feel that. And then he also says, what did he say about it? Oh, cash ruins everything around me, and I'm like, oh shit, you know, like that's from a dude that's like, you know, who's climbing that ladder. And
yeah.
I guess, you know, he's aware enough to see the more money he gets, it just seems to make everything else around him kind of like, you know, wilter, you know, as far as the beauty and everything, which is crazy, right? Like coming from a person who has no money, like everything's still beautiful. But but yeah,
definitely, definitely. I mean, that's definitely a pattern that we see with celebrities, especially more so now, where you know, you see a lot of the new rappers and stuff. They're always saying, "Man, this rapping stuff ain't nothing. The money isn't all that." And I'm thinking to myself, "Man, I would love to have that Lamborghini you're driving, that big chain you got, and stuff like that." But you know, it may be that. You know, the minute you get there, I mean, you strive to get it, and the minute you get it, you realize that it ain't all that. You know?
Yeah, and I don't know if how big of a fan you are, but I really look up to J. Cole in that sense.
So do I. That's my other favorite rapper for sure.
Yeah, and like it's crazy. I'm sure you know, from his mixtapes to his studio albums, you can see that change. And I know he never became like that, you know, I feel like Kendrick overtook him. Drake has always been over him, but yeah, he's a dude that I felt like always tried to stay true to himself, and whichever album he came out with was really what he was dealing with, or whatever he was in, right? And that's all love to J. Cole right there.
Yes, shout out to J. Cole. You know, wherever he's at, if he's listening right now, what's up, J. Cole? But
yeah.
No, I'm with you. I mean, he's definitely been the prime example, I think, for me, of money isn't everything. Because in the beginning, you know, I remember when he popped off, he was wearing, you know, thick gold chains and stuff. Never super flashy, but he had the Rolex at least and stuff. And then now you see him, he's a completely different guy. So who knows, man? I mean, if we ever get to that place, maybe money isn't everything, you know. But right now that at least I don't got it, I'm striving to get it, you know.
No, I hear you, man. Same. All right, man. Cool. That was an intro right there.
For sure.
We moving on to the icebreaker.
Let's do it.
I don't know if you've seen the previous episodes, but it's a spelling bee.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna throw you a word, and you got 2 chances.
Okay.
I could give you a hint and whatnot. And if you get it right, I will invite you back on for a spelling bee episode with all my other guests who have gotten their word right. So
all right, and now you put me on the spot, man. I haven't been to school in years, so let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. For sure.
Yeah. I mean, I don't back down from a challenge. I just am I able to write it down? Or it has to be at the top?
You can write it down. Right. I know some people, like, they weren't prepared, and they're like, "Oh shit, I wish I could write this down." But yeah.
Oh no, I won't do it. If other people didn't do it, I'll play fair. So I'll hold off.
All right.
Let's see if I can do it.
All right. And let me know if you've heard this word before, because I'm gonna use the same word I've used in other episodes. But your word is liaison.
Liaison. I know the word. I don't know. I definitely don't know how to spell that. Let me.
Just give it a shot, man.
Yeah, give me a sec. This one's.
No worries. There's gonna be a beat playing in the background, so it don't matter if you're thinking for a minute.
Yeah, no, because liaison. I'm gonna get this so wrong, but I'm gonna try anyways. Liaison.
You got one more chance. Liaison. You can get a lot of words by you know, saying it out loud, but there's one letter that throws everybody off, and no one's got this right. I don't think. No one's gotten this right so far.
So I don't feel bad, man.
Yeah. Don't feel bad.
Liaison. Liaison.
I'm sorry, man. It's Liaison. S-O-N.
Okay, yeah, no,
Yeah, yeah.
wait. I thought it sounds more simple than it is, man. Okay.
No worries, man.
Yeah, I haven't been to school in a long time, bro. So
Yeah. And
yeah,
fucking
well,
spell check, man. Spell check has ruined all our spelling, you know? We don't even need
yes,
to
it
remember no
has.
more. Like,
Exactly, bro. Exactly. You could have probably asked me an easier word, and I probably wouldn't have got it. So.
nah, I hear you. Thank you for participating, though, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate
no,
that.
I'm a sport for it. I'm down. I just,
No, for
I'm
sure.
not the spelling's not my strongest suit. But
No worries. I'll also reach out to you, man. I got a bunch of other game show idea type things, so
for sure,
you know,
I'm always with it.
down the road, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
All right, man. Let's get started with the main meat right now.
let's do it.
Give me a number between 1 and 34.
18. 18 is my lucky number.
18. Okay,
Yeah.
Here we go. What are your top 3 personal values?
Ooh, this is a good one. What are my top 3 personal values?
You could give me mottos that you live by.
Yeah.
You know, anything.
No, I would say, number 1 would be the golden rule. Treat others as you would want to be treated.
Yep.
That has meant more to me as I've gotten older than it did necessarily as when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm big on if you want, I'll give you respect, but I expect it back. If you don't give me respect back, you're not gonna get anywhere in life if you don't approach people with the same respect that you would expect. So I would say number 1 would be the golden rule. Treat others as you would want to be treated. And I feel like with all the craziness going down right now in life, with politics, with whatever it is, I feel like that's what we're lacking is mutual respect. So that's number 1. Number 2 would be just be honest. I mean, I feel like in this day and age, in 2021, there's so many people that are still lying, still being untruthful. And it's like, for what? I feel like I have no problem hurting your feelings if what I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything to you. If I don't like something about you and we're in a confrontational setting, I will tell you to your face. You may not like it, but I will feel better about myself knowing that I'm being real. I can't be fake.
Yeah.
Through the years, I've encountered so many different, people who, they say one thing to my face and then they say something else behind your back, and I'm like, why weren't you just honest from the get-go? You know what I'm saying? Like, why from the jump? Why weren't you honest? So I would say honesty would be. That would be the second one that I live by. Whatever it is, don't lie. Just be real, 100%. Be honest, no matter what it is. So that's the other one that I live by. And I would say the third one. Let me think for a second.
No worries.
The third one. Okay, this one's gonna be. Some people may not like it, but this one's the one that I live by. A motto, a way of life is don't be afraid to treat yourself once in a while.
I got you.
I mean, I like to shop. I'm a shopper and stuff like that, and so I'm constantly, getting myself, a pair of Jordans here, a new fitted, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I work a lot. I work a lot of hours, so my reward to myself is treating myself with whatever it is I want at the moment, if I can afford it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel, and the reason why I say treat yourself is because I know a lot of people who work day in and day out, and they don't ever do anything nice for themselves. They don't go out to eat at the restaurant they want to eat at. They don't buy themselves the items that they want to buy, things like that. And I'm not saying you have to splurge a lot of money. Sometimes it could be as simple as you want, cookies and cream ice cream.
Yeah.
But some people won't make the effort because they say, you know what, I don't want to go to the store. It's okay, maybe another day. But we don't know if we're gonna get another day.
I got you. Yeah.
So I would say, moderately treat yourself once in a while. If you feel like you deserve it, if you're a hard worker, or even if you're just having a bad day, sometimes the pick me up on your worst day could be just getting yourself a little treat here and there. So, and I feel like a lot of people should do that more often for themselves. Not the overspenders, of course. The people who don't do it often should once in a while. That's what I live by. Treat yourself. So.
Yeah, man. I think that last value too, that's just part of balance, You gotta have a balanced life. So if you are working super hard, you gotta play hard sometimes. So
definitely.
Yeah, and I definitely get that. I think something that helps me now is kind of like I try to budget stuff and I try to save up for things. So let's say I want a PS5 or whatever, I'll definitely try to save up maybe $50 a month until those 12 months pass, and boom, now I can like treat myself. But yeah, that's how I kind of go about it. That's how I treat myself.
I like that. That's what I'm still kind of working on right now. Still I'm decent with my saving. I'm just trying to get it a little bit better to get bigger things, not just stay, the treat. The treat right now is like a pair of Jordans. That's a good treat for me.
But
now I'm trying to get the treat to be, new car or whatever. So that's what we're within the next year or so, next 2 years. That's kind of the goal. So I got to be like you, bro. I'm trying to be like you. I got to work on my savings so I could treat myself a little bit better every time.
Bro, man, I wish I was like you back when I was 24, because I wasn't even thinking about savings, and it's kind of biting me in the ass. But you live and learn, and I ain't tripping. Yeah.
It's life, bro. It's life.
Yeah. For sure, man. Let's jump into the next number.
Let's do it. Let me think. Let's do 33.
33.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Let's see. What do you wish people knew about you?
What do I wish people knew about me? That one's an interesting one. I would say that's one of those things that kind of changes through the phases of life. Like I would say, if you would have asked me that type of question, 3-4 years ago, I would say, what do I want people to know about me? I want them to know that I'm coming out with the next banger and they should check me out and stuff like that. I would say what I want people to know about me is right now at this day and age is that I'm not the greatest man, but I'm a trying man.
Okay.
And every day that I wake up, I'm always trying to better myself, even though I have downfalls and that's hard. But a lot of people growing up, doubted who I was and stuff like that. And I don't try to change myself to what other people want me to be. I'm trying to change myself to who I want to be.
I got you.
And what type of role model I would like to be for the youth. And so I would want people to know that I'm a trying man. I'm trying to be the best me that I can be. And that goes for and just to be an example for everybody else who is kind of down in a rut and they're like, I'm a loser, I'm this, I'm that, I'm a nobody. No one cares. It's like, nah, you gotta start from within and better yourself for you, not for anybody else. A lot of times, I remember growing up, it was always, I wanna do this, I wanna become this person so I can prove, so-and-so wrong, or I wanna do this to slap it in so-and-so's face. And it's like, nah, you gotta worry about yourself and be about yourself. That's how I feel like long-term you achieve inner peace, with yourself. So I'm not there yet, but like I said, I'm a trying man, and I hopefully will be a role model to others later on down the line. So that's what I would say. What about you? Let me ask you. Let me flip that one on you real quick, because I'm curious.
Okay. Yeah. So what do I want people to know about me? Shit, man. That I would say no matter what I do, like I feel like I'm always concerned about whether or not people think my energy is fake, you know, because I feel like it's I'm just trying to bring the energy that's like always positive and always just like trying to bring good vibes to everybody. And like, you know, I can see how that can come off as in like not authentic or ingenuine, because you know that's what I observe is that there's a lot of people out there, like you were talking about being honest, right? And you were talking about how you know, you'd rather tell somebody to their face if you didn't like something, and personally I appreciate the fuck out of that, because that's something I struggle with. You know, that's something where one of my values would be kind of like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it. But I also know that that's not always the best way to approach things, you know. Like I feel like if I really cared about somebody, then I would tell them some hard truths, you know, give them something that they could work on. And there's been cases where I can do that because I feel like I have that connection with that person. But there's also some cases where I kind of just keep my mouth shut and I'm like, all right, you do you, you know, I'm gonna do me, and you know, we'll leave it at that. And that's something I'm working on too, is just yeah. So as I grow and as I try to tell people more truths, I hope people know that's coming from a place of care and, you know, a place of you know, I just want you to be happy. I want you to live your best life. And even though I might not know what that looks like for you, I can only say from my perspective, you know, what I think would be good. You know, if someone's coming at somebody wrong, then, you know, I'd be like, yo, why'd you do that? Or like, you know, why'd you be so negative to them or whatever. But yeah, so no matter what I do, I hope people know it's coming from a good place. It's coming from a place of like, I want everybody to come up. I want everybody to be happy. Whatever happiness looks like, unless it's those really, really bad things, and we know what those bad things are. That's another conversation for another day.
For sure.
But yeah, man, like as long as you're not hurting nobody, that's what I want people to know about me, man. Or what? Yeah, I just want them to know that this is coming from a good place, man. Like I feel like there's enough negative energy in the world that there needs to be people who always just bring the good energy, you know.
100%. 100%.
So,
no, I
yeah.
like that. I like that answer. That's a good answer right there.
Right
That's
on, man.
Good, I like that. I like that.
And I think you could tell, like from our whenever we connected, that's just
it's all genuine. It's all. You know, there's not a, like me on the other hand, I'm a little bit more, you know, more chill in the sense of I'm not over enthusiastic and always smiling. What I like about you is what I have seen of you, not just in our interactions, but what I've seen, you know, social media and stuff like that, is you always got a smile on your face. And I feel like, you know, for someone who like me, who has the resting bitch face all the time and stuff like that, it's good to see someone smile, because a smile goes a long way, you know.
Sure.
And as long as it's coming from a good place in your heart, it's not phony, dude. You can't go wrong.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
Definitely.
I gotta ask, man. You wearing a Shaq jersey right now?
No, this is Kobe, dude.
Oh, okay.
I have the Shaq ones. I have two Shaq jerseys downstairs. I just this was the closest one to me. I just didn't want to be in a Bear t-shirt, so I grabbed the Kobe. You know.
No, I got you.
Yeah.
I was just wondering because if it was gonna be a 34, I would have been like, oh shit. But yeah.
Nah. Oh man, I didn't think of it. I literally have it.
Don't even trip, man. I can't really see it, so I was just wondering. But shout out to Kobe, man.
Yeah, shout out to Kobe. And we can pretend this is kind of a Shaq too. You know, fuck it.
Nah, it's all good.
Yeah.
For sure, man. Yeah, I love you flipping the questions on me, man. That's great. Not everybody does that.
Yeah, no, I want to. I mean, my whole thing is I want to hear your perspective on it too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think that's, you know, the conversation has to go both ways. You know. So.
No doubt. That's how I like it, man. Throw me another number then.
Let me think. So we just did 33. We did 18. Let me see. Let's give Give me a sec. Give me a sec. I know it's not that hard to do, but give me a
Nah,
sec.
man, you know, you gotta let the number come to you sometimes. You feel me?
Yeah. Let's do 9. Nine kind of just came my way. Let's do 9.
All right.
Wow.
What does self-love mean to you?
Oh, what does self-love mean to me? You know, I don't have a definite answer on that. I think that's one of those things that I'm still trying to figure out for myself. What is self-love?
I got you. Yeah.
You know, because like I was saying earlier, you know, just the kind of models that I live by. You know, one of them being treat yourself. You know, you can't overly treat yourself either, because then it loses the I don't know what the right words, but it kind of gets oversaturated if you treat yourself too much. So I don't know, dude. That one's a tough one. That one's a tough one.
I got you.
Let me ask you, and then let me kind of cheat off your test for a little bit. Let me see what I can come up with.
I think self-love begins with knowing yourself, you know?
Okay.
I think, if you don't know yourself, how could you know what it is that you need to do for yourself in moments where you may not feel loved by everybody else? You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Self-love, I think, is taking time for yourself, you know? I'm the kind of guy, I grew up an only child. So
same here. Only child gang, bro.
You already know, man.
Yeah.
So we spent a lot of time with ourselves.
Alone.
Yeah. So we also know that, like, I think that's our advantage with than other people, because some people are always surrounded by people and they don't have that time to just think about
themselves.
And have like their imagination roam, or have all those things. Like there's a different experience, I think, that happens, right? And for anybody, like, maybe you weren't, like, for people out there who wasn't raised as an only child, but have spent a lot of time where they're just going solo and just, like, and so that, I think, helps you develop self-love as well, is that time alone. Because all the outside influences and everything else that can get into your head, you really curating your life for yourself. It's like no one can really change kind of change our thoughts or tell us what to do. I don't know if you feel that way. That's how I feel sometimes.
No, I feel like that. I think that goes with the expression, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Once you're kind of setting your ways, that's pretty much who you are. I feel like we can still better ourselves, and there are certain things that we can partially work on and change with dedication and persistence. But I feel like once we kind of are stuck in our ways, that's who we are. And I feel like it's that being said, it is hard to find people to truly accept you for who you are without you having to put a fake face on. I know I've had to do that a lot in my life, is kind of pretend to be someone I'm not. And then the minute I decide to kind of take that wall down, the dynamic changes with that individual. So, sorry that I cut you off. I just want to add that, to say that, what is self-love? I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still trying to learn about myself. Like I said, I as an only child who has spent a lot of time by himself, as I imagine you have as well, I thought I knew myself 100%, but I've realized I don't. I don't, and that's fine. That's fine. It's okay to find out that certain things make you upset, certain things don't make you upset. How you thought, or how before they used to affect you, now they don't. I mean, there's all these different things, and I think to really get self-love, just do what makes you happy, as generic as that answer sounds. Treat yourself once in a while and stay well fed. I love food, so I would say stay well fed, and treat yourself once in a while, and then everything else kind of falls into its place.
Yeah, and one thing I want to add about self-love is, it may sound selfish, but sometimes you got to make choices for yourself. you know.
Exactly.
It's hard sometimes when you feel like you got people depending on you, and I feel like I'm getting to that point where I feel like my responsibilities are growing and I have other people dependent on me, and but that's something I had to grow into. For a long time I was really just making decisions for myself, for better or for worse, but it's definitely made me, you know, discover myself. And like you were talking about, as far as that, going back to that question about, you know, on a scale from 1 to 10 how well you know yourself, I give myself a 5, honestly.
Okay. Right.
There's definitely things that I think I'm always learning and will continue to learn, but there's also the other side where I know for a fact that's who I am and that's all I'm ever going to be in my life, you know. So yeah,
I respect that.
Yeah, it's a part of the growing experience for sure. But yeah, man, self-love, I feel like this is the first time I asked a guest this question, so it was interesting to see where you were coming from, for sure. But yeah, man, take care of yourself, no doubt. I know you will.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, man, so we got about like 10 more minutes into the pod. Yeah, so we'll knock out a couple more questions maybe, depending on how it goes.
Yeah. No, I'm down for whatever, bro. I'm having a good time, so whatever comes our way, let's do it.
For sure. All right, throw me another number.
Let's do number 3.
Well, when was the last time you stepped outside your comfort zone?
When was the last time I stepped out of my comfort zone? That one, I don't know, man. That one's an interesting one because there hasn't really been much opportunities to step out of your comfort zone anytime lately, because most of the time I'm just here at the house. I would say, okay, this one's like, you know, over a year ago, but when there were still performances going down, when you were still able, because I used to perform at this bar, you know, that my boy used to DJ at. And
which one?
It was the hell is it called?
It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's right by SF State. It's one of those little bars, right behind SF State.
Oh, I think I know you're talking about that plaza.
Yeah, it's over there. Yeah,
I know
whatever
what you're
it's
talking
called.
about.
Anyway, so I remember I went to go meet up my boy just because he was DJing that night. And they were doing like a little showcase or whatever, right? And like other rappers and stuff like that. And I was just going to watch, right? And I was not in the mood to like perform because it wasn't my crowd either. Like it was like I'm like a more like a chill type of rapper with a more, you know, I would say kind of normal type of audience, you know, nothing too crazy, nothing too hood or nothing like that. And like this place was packed with like hood people, and they're like, my boy was like, hey, go up, we got a spot for you to do a song. And I was like, I did not fit in. Like I didn't feel like I fit in. I still went up, I still did my thing, but I was like, I felt out of place, dude. So I would say that was out of my comfort zone and not wanting to back out, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, you know, we back out in those situations, and I didn't. So I would say, top of my head, that's the last time I could think of really doing something that was out of my comfort zone. Since then, I've been home. I've been in my comfort zone. I've been in my zone. So
I got you.
Yeah. What about you? Let me ask you this one.
Hey, I mean, most currently, I would say, man, I am not. I wouldn't say I'm comfortable with the social media game. Like, you know, as far as, you know, I'm never really good at self-promoting myself. So I think that's one of my biggest setbacks when I was trying to be a rapper. I feel like as a rapper, you got to be able to promote yourself and like say, you know, I'm the best at this, and you know, people will gravitate towards that. I was never that kind of dude. So yeah, I would say reaching out to people to be on this pod or, you know, anything, like I think it really challenged my fear of rejection. That's something that's something I realized for myself. It was that, you know, my whole life, or not my whole life, but for a majority of my life, I've been afraid of, you know, people thinking that, oh, you know, like especially for this podcast, reaching out to people, I was afraid people would be like, oh, that's just another thing he's doing. You know, he's not really serious about it. You know, it's not going to go anywhere. So yeah, I was outside of my comfort zone as far as just reaching out to people. And then as like you're similar to your story, I haven't done too many shows or anything like that when I was rapping, but I was a part of like this opening group that opened up for Filthy Rich maybe a long time ago. But yeah, man, the crowd was, like you said, it wasn't my crowd. I didn't know what I was getting into, honestly. And yeah, I appreciate the fact that there was people out there, even though, you know, I felt like it wasn't going to be the same crowd that would vibe with my music. There was people out there that still like was not in their head. They gave me props afterwards and was like, you know, and so I appreciate that because they knew like
they knew this wasn't your circle.
This guy didn't know what he was getting into, but I know he's up there doing this thing, and I feel like that's the most important thing, right? So but
when you're genuine, people can recognize that, you know.
Yeah, man, and I sweat like a motherfucker. So I was on that stage like. By the time I got off stage, it was all drenched, and I was like, "Fuck, man," you know, like people. No, I'm glad nobody was taking a fucking video of that, you know, like. But,
I mean, there may be a hidden tape somewhere, bro. Someone might have it on their phone, man. Don't speak too soon.
Yeah, Throwback Thursday, man. Let me see that video.
For sure. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's lately, I would say just trying to get up on my social media game is very not in my comfort zone. But what's great about being outside of your comfort zone is that you learn a lot more, and you know, it's a challenge, it's a personal challenge that if you can overcome, then that's a new skill, or that's a new experience that just helps further you, you know, in your life. So yeah, I mean, I'm all for stepping out of comfort zones for sure, and hopefully you get more opportunities once everything's, you know, all said and done with this COVID era, man.
Yeah. Whenever it does end, because I mean, now we have the vaccines coming and things like that. So hopefully that this marks the end of it. But I'm not getting my hopes up yet. I'm still kind of letting it just, you know, rolling with the punches, as they say.
No doubt. I mean, since you brought it up, man, how do you feel about, you know, all that, you know?
All like the vaccines and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I mean, I like the idea of getting the vaccine. Like, I get my flu shot. I'm not anti-vax or nothing like that. The only thing that I don't know, I feel like they developed it a little too soon. So I'm waiting. You know, first of all, it's not even available for me yet. But I'm kind of, you know, when it is available, depending on when it is available for me, I'll see if I take it. I'll see if I take it right away. I most likely will end up getting it just for the sake of you know, being able to travel and stuff like that. But do I trust it 100%? No, but I mean, so far, I would say the majority of people are reacting positively to it. So, you know, it could just be regular skepticism that I'm having, you know.
I'm in that boat, man. I feel like I don't trust it, but I'm going to take it just for, I guess, for everybody else, you know, like, So that's where I'm at with it too. And hopefully it becomes available for everybody so we can kind of get back to how it was. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed. I mean, this already went longer than we all expected to.
Yeah.
It's that never-ending conversation, because no matter who you can meet a random person right now and it's going to be the first thing they talk about is COVID and stuff like that. It's all that we're talking about. And
that's a hot topic, yeah.
I'm sick. Let's pour some cold water on that hot topic. You know, let's let it die down already. You know,
that's why I like talking about this, man. I miss getting to know people, and I miss having good conversations, man. So for sure,
we need human interaction. You know, we need social interaction, and so I think it's a great thing that you made this platform. You know what I'm saying? And I dig it, man. I dig this whole podcast thing. I like it. I like it.
Right on, man. All right, man. We get into the end here. I got the closeout question for you.
All
right, man. What is the greatest lesson you've learned thus far?
In life?
In life.
The greatest lesson that I've learned, don't be ashamed to be you.
Okay.
You know, I think that's a difference between. There's a difference between saying, don't be afraid to be you,
Yeah.
and don't be ashamed. You know, because you can be bold and still go out there and throw yourself out there, and people will hate on you, and after you'll feel ashamed. Like, I think there's a big distinction. I think for
I
me,
like that. Yeah.
I would say the ashamed part, because, you know, with different things, you know, growing up, there was a few things that I liked that other kids didn't like, and I was ashamed that I liked this type of stuff. For example, you know, when I was a little kid, I used to like Elvis Presley. You know, that's been my favorite artist,
that's
you know,
what's
of all
up.
time.
Yeah.
You know, and I was a big Elvis fan. But, you know, kids when I was in first grade, no one knew who Elvis was. I just happened to run across him, and I remember people would like. There were some people that thought it was cool and unique, and then there was other, you know, people, you know, kids obviously in my age group at that time, who thought it was lame, and they would pick on me, and I felt ashamed. You know, eventually I got over that, but that's a little example of examples like that. I've had many, you know.
Yeah.
I think the biggest, the way I kind of learned that lesson and I got over it was when I was a kid. I used to, they used to be the toys, the girl, like, there weren't Barbies, there were Brats. I don't know if you remember the Brat dolls. You
I remember
the
Brat dolls. Yeah, I remember.
Okay. So when the Brat dolls came out, I remember they came out with the you know, they had the girls, and then they had the boys, right? The boy dolls. And I remember, like, you could get them like the low-rider car, they could have a motorcycle, all this stuff. I thought that was cool. I thought they were cool, right?
Yeah.
And I remember, you know, the men in my family, like my uncles and like my grandpa and stuff, they were like, what the hell? Like, don't, like, my mom had bought me one, like the guy one, right? Because I thought it was a cool toy. And I remember, you know, it didn't look, it was kind of frowned upon, boys playing with dolls, you know, so to speak, in my house, right? And I remember, and I was around, I'd say maybe 6 or 7 years old when this was going on. And I remember I was ashamed because this is what I wanted to play with as a kid. I liked that toy. I thought it was cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know, my female cousins, they would play with it too. So it was kind of an interaction that I had with them, a bonding experience, right? And so, but nevertheless, it was one of those things where I was ashamed of and stuff like that. And I remember my dad took me Christmas shopping one time, because my dad is separate from my mom's family, from my family at home. So my dad, it was one of those things, he took me to Toys R Us back in the day, and you know, he's like, pick out whatever you want, right?
Yeah.
And then he saw, like, I wanted this, I wanted the Bratz motorcycle with the, like, it had like the different motorcycle outfits for the dude and stuff like that. And I wanted that, right? But I was ashamed to tell my dad, you know, because I didn't know my dad that well. You know, like, he was my dad, but we didn't have a tight relationship. And I was ashamed to kind of say, Dad, I want this. And he realized, he kind of saw something, and he was like, that's what you want, right?
That's what's up.
And I was kind of like, nah. He's like, that's what you want. That's what you like, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, get it. Let's get it.
That's what's
and he
up.
Was, and I remember leaving that store. And I remember, I'm a kid when this is going on. When we were leaving the store, he said, you know, when I was a kid, I was poor, and I had a doll, a baby doll, and that was the only toy that me and my brother had, and we played with it, and we didn't care if kids said that it was, you know, a toy for girls. That was our toy. That's the only thing we had.
Yeah.
You know, so if this is what you want to play with, you play with whatever you want to play with. And this is where he said, don't be ashamed of liking what you like. And that, at a young age, that stayed with me all my life. To now, I don't care. Like, I don't care. I like what I like. Right behind me, I got, you know, the Peanuts, you know, Charlie Brown, all that
I
stuff.
see that, man.
I like that. I like that. You know what I'm saying? And I have no shame. If you don't like it, if it's not your boat, that's fine. But I'm not going to be ashamed or hide something and say, you know what, I don't, you know, we're doing an interview right now. Let me cover it up so you don't say, no, man, I'm not ashamed of what I am. You know, I'm not going to be over vocal about it because, you know, who cares? But for me, I'm not gonna be ashamed of what I like and be ashamed to be me. Be ashamed of who I am and who I feel I am inside. So that's what I would say. Don't be ashamed to be you.
Bruh, thank you for that story, man. That was good. That was amazing. I appreciate that. Shout out to Pops, man. God damn.
Shout out to my dad. He's a real one. Yeah,
man. I hope everybody got somebody like that, you know, to tell them the same thing. You know, when you're talking about the difference between being afraid and ashamed, I kind of like, in my mind it clicked that like maybe afraid is in the moment and then ashamed is like that aftermath, you know, like
correct.
You know, where you might not feel it right away, but then after you start second guessing yourself, you start thinking like, oh shit, you know, is something wrong with me type shit. But yeah, wow.
Yeah, man.
Well, bro, that was a great way to you know, close out this interview.
For sure, brother.
Thank you again for coming on.
Anytime, man. Whatever you need, you know, you just holler at me.
Yeah, I hope you had fun, man. This was amazing. For
this
me.
was great, bro. I had a great time. This is fun. I really like this. So
for sure, man.
Hopefully we get another chance to do it again.
Oh, let's run it back. For sure.
For sure, brother.
I definitely want to check in with you again and like what everything that you said, you know, you're trying to discover for yourself. I think you're gonna have an amazing journey. So yeah, no doubt.
Right on, brother.